I think you can do a lot for free. And I think these are really reputable, really worthwhile sites. All right, I'm going to use this opportunity to talk about sports a little bit. So this is fun. Any students in here, you don't have to raise your hand, but do you think you want to play sports in college? Yes. I have a couple kids of my own. They play sports in college. I've dealt with a lot of student athletes. I will tell you, it is not too early to start your college search now if you want to play college sports. Because you're going to find out senior year, all the roster spots are already full for the following year. Coaches are out recruiting. Coaches have a list of students that they're looking at, thinking about. Get on that list. How do you do that? Well, you've got to be really good, but I would recommend you also be assertive. Put a list of colleges together. Find out who the coach is and send that coach an email. Tell them about yourself. You know, what are your stats? What's your schedule? What camps are you going to go to? Who's your summer team? What showcases will you be at? If you're proud of it, tell them what your GPA is in high school. So be assertive. Get your name out there for the coaches, because it was the most stressful thing for my daughters when they were looking at colleges. They had great grades, but they wanted to play a sport. So they needed that offer before they could actually choose their school. So that just kind of adds to the fun, adds to the stress. If you're good enough to get an offer from a Division I or a Division II college, you'll probably be asked by the coach, have you registered with the clearinghouse? The NCAA clearinghouse kind of makes sure that students are bona fide students. They've taken certain courses. They know what all of our courses are. They've approved of a lot of our courses. One thing I will tell you, if you want to play D1 or D2, you've got to get through Algebra 2, among other things. But sometimes that's really the sticking point. Student's not good at math, student doesn't want to take too much math. If you don't get through Algebra 2, you won't be cleared by the clearinghouse. There is a cost involved to register with the NCAA. There's no need to pay that now. Wait until senior year, wait until you think you might have some type of interest from a Division I or a Division II college. Registering for the clearinghouse will not get you noticed by coaches by itself. Some other helpful things, Ms. Heidi mentioned the Naviance program. We are going to be going into the 9th grade classes to do a career exercise with them. We've been in the 10th grade health classes, so if your 10th grader is taking health this year, they've already done Naviance for the year. We did Naviance with the 9th graders last year. I think Mr. Bartosik introduces Naviance in 8th grade. So Naviance is a program that the school purchases. Every student has an account. It's web-based. They can log in 24/7. There's just a tremendous amount of resources that deal with careers and with colleges. The College Navigator is really underused. This is a government website that gives a lot of very interesting statistics about colleges that I think you'd have trouble finding anywhere else. So that's a website I like to look at every once in a while just for some additional information. The Suny search engine. That's specifically for the 64 Suny campuses. On the very back of this handout is what I call the Suny cheat sheet. This is a great resource. We'll talk about that in a minute. The College Board website. A lot of things to offer on the College Board website, including registering for the SAT, prepping for the SAT. Students in AP, their AP classroom is through the College Board. There's a great college search engine on the College Board website. And if you're applying to a private college, you may have to do a secondary financial aid form called the CSS profile. That's also affiliated with the College Board. Okay. Kind of jumping to a different category. We've had these programs in the past where some of the feedback we've gotten has been too much college. Not everybody goes to college, and that's true. And you know, for the most part, the parents and the students that attend these things want to know about college. But there are other options. Not everybody has to go to college. We've got great military branches. The branches websites are here. You know they're a legitimate military website because they end in .mil. That's the military. Space Force is a real thing. It's not just a Netflix show. So that's kind of the newest branch. That's interesting. And these are some full-time options for students who want to pursue that type of career. And there's lots of different careers in each branch of the military. The reserves and the National Guard, you could do that on a less than a full-time basis. You could do that part-time in addition to college or in addition to a job. If you've got tremendous grades and you don't want to pay for college and you think, I'd like to do college and then the military, maybe you can get into one of the academies. West Point, Naval Academy, Air Force Academy. We don't have a lot of students that do that, but it's impressive. It's impressive to get into one of those. ROTC, that's the Reserve Officer Training Corps. That's a scholarship that will very much help you pay for college. There is a commitment involved in that scholarship that you will serve in the military after that. And to join a service branch, it starts with a test called the Asvab. That's the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery. Like the SAT and ACT, you'll be tested on math and English. There are multiple other subject areas they test you on, but basically your score on the Asvab determines what type of job you can get if you were to join the military. So the better you score on that test, the better job you can have if you join the Army or the Navy. Trade schools and apprenticeships. There's lots out there. We just got a brochure about a month or so ago, and the next couple of pages in your handout tell you about the local trade unions and their websites and phone numbers and how to get more information about that. So if you don't want to go to college, if you don't want to join the military, well, your parents probably aren't going to pay for you forever. They probably want you to get a job. Getting an apprenticeship is a great way to get a great job. So there's a lot of information in here about those. And, you know, kind of an in-between college and work, you think trade schools. A lot of trade schools, like traditional trade schools, they're basically for-profit businesses. So not that they don't do a great job training, but, you know, there's been a lot of news recently, not recently, but for years, that people are spending money to go to these trade schools and they're really not getting anything out of it. That's not everyone. Many of them are very reputable, have been around for years. But when you think of trade schools, you maybe don't think of the local community colleges. You know, you go to Hudson Valley's website, there's a whole section on skilled trades majors, where you can learn auto mechanics, construction, electrical. Fulton Montgomery, Schenectady County, Cobleskill, Columbia Green, they all have trade programs as part of their menu of offerings. So these are all schools affiliated with Suny. So their trade programs, their trade schools at a fraction of the cost of what a traditional for-profit trade school would cost you. So those are some pretty neat options. You know, one thing I want to say about the Sunys, and that's not to push Suny on anybody, but Miss Heidi and I just had our junior conferences, and that's something you're probably really looking forward to, where you sit down with us individually and we talk about your student for 45 minutes or so. And even today, not today specifically, but these days, I'm having students say, well, if I don't get into college XYZ, I'll just go to a Suny. And that kind of makes me cringe a little bit. If you look on the very back of here, on that Suny cheat sheet, if I can open it. My fingers are too dry. Where is it, Miss Heidi?
Very last page?
There it is.
There you go.
So this Suny cheat sheet tells you how many students, undergraduate students, are on each campus. It also tells you average SAT, ACT, and high school GPAs. So if you wanted to go to Suny Binghamton, your high school average should be between a 93 and a 98. So you just want to go to a Suny. It's not so easy anymore. You know, a lot of private schools, their sticker price is $80,000 a year. So a lot of smart money has been headed to the state schools, and you'll see, you know, the GPAs are pretty impressive at most of these places. So just the Suny, you know, a lot of times it's harder than just a private college. So whether it's college, military, or a career, it's really not too early to start planning, to start thinking about this, to start doing a little bit of research. Okay? Obviously, with good grades, students, you can do anything you want. If your grades are poor, you're maybe going to limit your options. So, we've got about 10 weeks left of this school year before Regents exams. 10 weeks. Finish strong, keep working hard, use Miss Heidi and I as resources, and, you know, let's get to the next year. Yes, questions?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I meant to have that, and I even made a note on my PowerPoint, but didn't say it out loud.
Yeah, community service, it is a requirement for our seniors. It's a graduation requirement of 15 hours during their senior year. Our students in Honor Society are expected to do 20 hours each school year that they're in Honor Society. But ninth graders who do community service can put it on their resume. Students who do a tremendous amount of community service, that's just one more nice thing that colleges look at. There are even scholarships out there that reward students with tremendous community service.
So doing community service in years other than senior year does not apply?
Doesn't count towards the graduation requirement.
Was there some waiver this year for National Honor Society hours?
Yeah, there was. I learned that.
I'm glad you asked that.
Yes, I heard that directly from Mr. Stumbaugh.
Yes.
Is there a way to track, is there a program that you use to track community service hours?
Yeah, this has changed year to year based on who the advisor was. Our advisor this year was Mr. Sheehan. He took an administrative job in a different district, so Mr. Stumbaugh is now our advisor. In past years, Mr. Glad has kept track of this. So the Honor Society advisor would keep track for the students in Honor Society. For the seniors, right now, Mr. Glad has just taken it on. There have been websites and Google Forms, there have been paper sheets. There's not a great way to keep track other than putting it on their resume. And what I didn't mention about Naviance, among other things, there's a resume building feature. So we try to mention that when we do the career activities with students, but honestly, most of the 9th and 10th graders probably don't have much of a resume made. They probably don't have it typed in. But if you're doing community service and you don't want to forget, put it on your Naviance resume. Yes.
I've been noticing on college applications this term that says ACT, SATs are optional. What does that mean?
That's COVID.
Do you take them, don't you take them? Does it count for against the words
The current seniors and last year's seniors pretty much universally faced colleges that all said that. You know, it was hard to get a test, tests were canceled. We understand, we'll be test optional. Many of the current juniors will have that as well. The Sunys have said, we're test optional for the juniors also. For the sophomores, for the 9th graders, I don't know, I have to think it'll be business as usual for them.
Okay, so what you're saying is you think that is something that has only occurred as a result of the pandemic and not being able to access tests, that it's not something that's going to continue?
It's going to continue at some schools because pre-COVID, schools they could kind of count on the number of applications they would get. Post-COVID, applications are skyrocketing because kids aren't afraid to send their test scores anymore. You know, the test scores kept a lot of kids from applying. Now, I've got good grades, I'm gonna apply everywhere. So, every time a kid applies, that college is getting 50, 60, 70 bucks for applications. They're getting 50,000 applications. So some of those colleges are gonna keep that policy. Yeah.
I do have another question. Is, you know, I haven't really looked at this stuff in 20 years. Is your class rank still considered part of the rubric for college?
Our school does not rank our students, so
Our school does not
nope, our school does not rank our students, and our cumulative averages that we report to colleges are also unweighted. So
We have no class valedictorian.
we will award a valedictorian and salutatorian at the end of the kids' senior years, but we do not rank students.
So how do you come up with that?
There is a board policy that outlines the different criteria that tells it if a kid is eligible for Val and Sal, and the principal takes a look at it and says, okay.
So is that subjective?
Look at the board policy. It's very specific about what you need. You have to have a certain GPA. You have to have a certain amount of honors AP at university in the high school classes. I can't remember if community service is still, or extracurriculars are somehow linked to it.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the wording, but
I know, I don't know the exact
essentially,
wording.
you know, even though we don't keep rank, we know everyone's average. We just don't formally put them in order and publish that. So,
Or give that to schools?
we
Right.
don't.
Right,
We
when
don't.
schools ask us to rank students, there's always an option to say we do not rank.
So, usually, the student with the highest average is the valedictorian.
Local college fairs have been available at the school, at the high school, in the past, is that up and running? And your way was it here?
We did not put it in here. Yes, they are up and running. There's a really big college fair that Hudson Valley puts on every year where it attracts a couple hundred colleges. It was supposed to be a couple weeks ago, but got canceled. Remember we had that random Wednesday snowstorm? It got canceled due to that, so I haven't heard of a scheduled date for that.
I haven't, and those were 200 colleges that sent reps and got hotel rooms and, you know, have since moved on to other cities. So
We'll see.
Can they get it back? I don't know. Chalmont had a fair last week with some of those reps that were still in the area. So we may be just,
Is there a flyer anywhere we can check so we know when they're available?
is it CDCA?
Yeah, it'll be on there. Yep.
Probably the Capital District Counseling Association site, CDCA. But I have a feeling most of the bigger local ones are just passed.
And I feel like we're just starting to have those back again. A lot of this was, of course, canceled due to COVID. We also will have college representatives come and visit our counseling office, typically in the fall. Again, a lot of that kind of slowed as far as traffic went this past fall. I really am hopeful, and I really imagine that this coming fall, that's really gonna perk up again. So, hopefully in the fall, we're still gonna have other schools around us, like Bethlehem, Gilliland, and Shen. They typically hold a fair, as well as Hudson Valley, and we hopefully will have more colleges coming, foot traffic through our office. We will announce those on the announcements every morning. We'll say, you know, Suny Binghamton will be in the counseling office at 11 o'clock, and anybody can come. Doesn't matter what grade you're in. If you're interested in the school, you are welcome to come and chat with the admissions rep from that school.
Will the SNN or anything alert on the local, like you said, Shamrock, Gilliland, any of those?
So we put together a newsletter every fall. That information will be in our fall newsletter for sure.
And one more plug for Naviance students. If you have a list of colleges on your Naviance account, when a college comes to visit us, we look at Naviance, who's got this school on their list, and we will invite you to come and visit with the college rep that's visiting our school.
But like I said, you don't need that to come down, but it helps us target kids to come talk to the admissions reps.
Yes.
I have a question. When you have your individual discussions with the students, do you give all this information? Because I feel like if I go home and tell my child to do some of this stuff, I'm, you know, gonna hear it. So I'm just curious about.
They definitely hear it from us. They're more likely to hear this when we come into the classroom and we do the Naviance activity with them every year. But yeah, they've heard us say it. And we will also have other things like this as the years progress. Like this won't be the last time we get together. We will have a junior night. It's typically in late fall, early winter of junior year. We'll have a senior night, which is traditionally the first or second night of school, because obviously you guys have questions, and this is stressful. So we're trying to help support you guys and give you information as often as we can. But
Is there anything specifically we want you, like your
Yeah.
child to know?
That you should spend your summer building your resume.
Oh yeah, they.
Well,
And doing Khan Academy.
no. You should spend your summer having fun, recharging your batteries, and if you have a little time, do something constructive. That is the message. Childhood is too short.
That's why I say it with a face. I was like, if you really want to, because listen, we get it. We're parents. We have kids. It's crazy town. So you just do the best you can.
Your kids will be out of your house soon enough, and you will miss them. Have fun with them in the summer. Anything else? Well, we'll stick around for a little bit if you wanted to come up, but thanks everybody for coming. We haven't had one of these